Unless I get smaller.
Tell me what you need, you know I got it. Put you up to speed, you already know the product. Take you on some sprees, on a deposit, it's ironic. Cautious switches and you bouncing on this dick like hydraulics. I'm astonished how you move. I done seen them all, but ain't none cold as you. Your personality strange, you so unusual. You excite me and enlighten me at the same time. I'm just so grateful for this moment in time. There's no be surprised. Don't be chillin', you are down there. I need healing, let's get high.
What?
At the ceiling, get naked.
This would be definitely my high.
No bra? Oh shit. I'm on. The mic is on.
You live?
Yeah, I'm live. Yep. Peace, peace. Happy new moon to the family. In honor of the dark moon, I decided to go live on the eve of the new moon and kind of just bask in the energy. It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. I feel like I ain't did a live video or did a video in years, so I gotta get used to this thing again. But the title of this video is Conflict, and I'm gonna really discuss a particular aspect and the particular new moon, just touching on some things that we've already discussed and then touching on some additional things, and and then I'll open it up for questions and answers at the end. So throughout this video, if there's some questions or anything that confuses you about what I'm speaking, or you want more clarity, or you disagree, or you have a conflict with what I'm discussing, that is welcomed. So a lot of times I feel when it comes to development and growth, people's conflict resolution or their ability to face conflict is the make or break to whether they're a success or not, because we all have that point in time where we have to face whatever it is that we have to face. And are you able to face it and deal with it, or are you going to deny it? And conflict, where's the core conflict? The conflict is at your core beliefs, but we'll deal with that further. Just wanted to talk about some things astrologically in totality. So we have a new moon. So if we look at the new moon in Aquarius and we just if we don't look at the sign and we figure the new moon would be the first house or the ascendant, then we count the houses and we look at the planets and see what houses the planets are in to figure out the energy. So we have Mars and Uranus in the second house ideologically, if we just look at it from a housal perspective. And so we have Mars and Uranus in the house of increase, the house of material possessions. And then we have Venus and Saturn and Pluto in the 10th house. I point out these houses to be more important to discuss since we're at a large forum. I'm talking to a large group of people, so we want to deal with the common denominator, and that, we could all use an increase in our second house, and we could all see what Venus, Saturn, and Pluto is doing in our 10th house when it comes to factoring in a new moon, because a new moon is a time to set intentions, right? So if you following me, setting those intentions in the idea of the second house and the 10th house being ruled by Capricorn, and the energy there is the idea of growth or increase as well. So these influence in particular, they suggest the time of change and restriction or restructuring within your job or your professional outlook, and just how you're gonna do your thing moving forward. And the way that the world is going, it's completely up to you and your self mastery and the things that you're willing to put effort into and the things that you're allowed to change. Like, there are things that you've said to yourself for years. I'll never be this. I'm shy. I'm too fat. My hair not long enough. My skin is dark, too dark. And all of these things that you say to yourself, whether consciously or unconsciously, creating a block. And so this new moon is an opportunity to get out of those blocks, and we can all go to sleep with a particular intention and deal with those particular results. Yes, I've been reading the Book of the Dead extensively as I go to sleep. I've been led to do that, and I got moved to a point where I was reading about the golden Djed pillar, and I said, oh, this is interesting. Let me go to sleep and, fixate on this golden Djed pillar. And so I had some interesting dreams, and then I went to work this morning and they presented me with a golden phone, and I was like, wow, that's pretty intense. Along with the dreams that I've heard, I actually heard the African name of God, which I did not know. Oluwa, Oluwa. That was the name that I heard in my dream. And then I looked it up. I didn't really find too much until I got onto Spotify. And then I've heard every African Christian song singing to Oluwa as if it was God. And, I did not know that until I had that dream. And so, powerful shit. But I say all of that because I had a particular intention as I went to sleep. And so I'm saying all of that to say, don't play with this shit. Don't fuck around when it comes to setting intentions and going to sleep and thinking abstract about your future. This is important for you. So I hope that you hear me. Because me being the messenger is irrelevant. Really focus on the message, and then we provide notes so you can do your own investigation to see what I'm talking about so you can apply this knowledge. Because if you get caught up on me, you will get lost. I want to get into this astrology, but I'm gonna just say this real quick. The reason why I say don't get caught up on me, because subconsciously you may only see me as a black man. You may only see me as a thug, a bank robber, or the nigga that stole your furniture after you invited him over to sleep over, and you woke up, your house is gone. I might fit that description. Therefore, subconsciously, you know how many people just don't like me without even no personal conversation. And as a black man, you have to understand that people shadow project on you based upon their experience with people who look like you, and you might have had a negative experience with a white person and you shadow project on every white person you see subconsciously. I know I do it, something that I'm working on. But I say that to say that it's important, whoever you're listening to, black man, white man, Chinese man, Spanish man, Eskimo, Australian, you want to kind of remove the stereotypes. Because the stereotypes have been created by people to keep you subjugated, and you will be completely out of the loop when it comes to what resonates with your soul, because you're fixated on a stereotype. And if you look up the etymology of stereotype, you'll see that the synonym of stereotype, a synonym of stereotype is ritual. So if you look at a person without knowing that person and develop a particular feeling about them, it's because you're a part of a ritual that you have no idea that you're a part of. So, the girls on Instagram and thinking, all of that is design, but I just needed to say that as we deal with this astrology. Today, we're going to deal with the particular aspect, Neptune sextile Saturn. And Neptune at this particular degree mark, 15 degrees of Pisces, the Sabian symbol represents valorization, which is the act of creating value or worth. Now, I'll give you a quick example of what the difference is between value and worth and what it's not, so you won't be confused about it. Value is based upon a particular level of conflict, a particular level of strain, a particular level of facing adversity. Therefore, that person is the one who has the value. Now, it's very easy to create value, like Adrian Broner is an example. Now, Manny Pacquiao beat that boy's ass. But when it came to the post-game fight, Adrian Broner was like, I don't feel like I lost. Like, and he had everything to say outside of, so if you had any logical sense, that within itself, you lose value as a character because you're not even looking at this thing objectively or real. But the person who stood there and took his shots and dealt with the conflict and won, he's the one who got the belt. He's the one who got the championship. And it's just simple as that. You can easily say, I have value, I'm a good person, and things of that nature, but you don't necessarily know unless you actively have conflict with your core beliefs. And so this is the problem that many people come across when trying to relate to people. They have a core belief that they never challenge. They never ever challenge their core beliefs because they imagine that their core beliefs was gonna sustain them. Now, we smart and things of that nature, but it's a lot of people who still drink Kool-Aid with tap water because their mama taught them. And you conscious, you know, like, that's disgusting. Well, you're drinking sugar and then tap water is disgusting, but they don't understand anything because we take everything from our parents. So when we really get into psychology and discussing being a grown-up, an adult, you cannot be taking cues from your parents. Very simply, why you can't take cues from your parents, because you could have been born on any family on the goddamn block. Any family. I mean, the Brewsters that moved away 20 years ago, you don't know what they own. It'd be the same difference if Mama Brewster came to you 20 years later, like, boy, you know you shouldn't be doing that shit. You would look at Mama Brewster like, who the hell is you? You knew me when I was 2. You don't know me. So then why does it matter if your mama said? Because you could have very well been born to the Brewsters and everything that the Brewsters are saying is what you need to have been following. And you wouldn't have gave a shit about what your mama's saying because your mama would have been your neighbor. You could argue the point and you could say esoterically, we've chosen our parents and all of that shit, but that shit's not gonna get you nowhere. Until you challenge your core beliefs, you don't know where the fuck you going because you trying to live your mama and daddy's life and trying to make them proud. So difficult to live a life where you trying to make your parents happy and you're not happy yourself. So therefore, when I say conflict is the key to any type of occult, any type of feeling of success or anything, is because your soul is not gonna sit in your essence and let you live in somebody else's ideology and then be cool. So when people aren't feeling good, when people aren't happy and people going through shit, I know exactly what the reason is. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not challenging your core belief. Because when you do, you're happy. You're at peace. Because can't nobody tell you shit. Can't nobody pull on your energy for no good reason. So a level of wisdom in Neptune in the 15-degree mark, because if you've been following my channel, we've been talking about Neptune in the 14th degree mark for the past 3 months. So as Neptune inches into a new space, we get to have a new conversation for the next couple months on creating value, and we know exactly how to create value over these next 3 months is challenging those core beliefs or preparing for those beliefs in the future, because what's done is done. But you know, in the future, you can say, when my core belief is challenged, I will see what that shit is about. Because your core beliefs is why you even fucking sad, to keep it 100. Your core belief is simply stating that you need a husband, you need a wife, you can't be in a polygamous relationship, you can't be single and be happy, you can't, you know, you can't even, you know, trust me, it's mothers who teach their children how to play niggas, or it's fathers that teach their sons how to take advantage of women. Give them game on how to take advantage of women. And as a son, you would be like, oh, thanks, Dad. Now I can take, you know, now I can manipulate women thanks to my father. Man, I'm happy that I don't have that strong familial tie as I really get to know self. Because I get to know myself and my family in other lifetimes. I spend time with my family in their ancestral greatness. And we sit and talk about what went wrong, you know, hundreds of years ago. How did we get, you know, and they feel as though they failed me. But the realization is that, you know, we had to see it. We had to have this conflict. And, you know, I've been really studying lately, and studying history, you figure we live in a time where we're not getting murdered by the hundreds or the thousands because of an affiliation or because we have special abilities. It's now getting to the point that people don't even believe that that's even who we were. We don't even see ourselves in the same light as our ancestors any longer, because we've forgotten completely that whole section of our being has went to sleep. And so as it rises, you have to confront that normal human basic bullshit that your mama and daddy taught you. Period. If it's anything else outside of that, then you're not even in the ballpark. You talking to me about getting married, about getting some money, but you're not even tapping into your true self. You're trying to live up to a standard. So if we're going to talk about purpose, if we're going to talk about all that hot shit that the conscious niggas talk about, then we're going to have to be free of all blocks that our parents have given us. But we haven't even really dealt with our our parents, our madrinas and our padrinos, because it's different levels to this consciousness. And I wouldn't even be here talking about it if it wasn't documented, and if it wasn't in writing, if I didn't have sources, if I couldn't back this shit up. So I know what I'm saying is challenging the status quo across the board. So by default, it's creating a conflict, but I'm here through wisdom. So I've prepared for the conflict. It if we want to use our visualization, we are all on an ocean, and you guys are trying to swim, and we are in the ocean. That does not work well in the ocean. The earth is 70% water. It is mostly water. So if you are suspended in water, you cannot swim and survive. You have to learn how to float. You have to learn to be at peace. The problem with people, they don't want to develop peace. They want to swim faster, stronger, longer than everybody else. Look at my stroke. Look at my left stroke. Look at my right stroke. And then when they die, you know, you just be like, damn. But, you know, stress is killing people. Stress is turning people to antidepressants, turning people to opioids. And after that, you know, it's canceled Christmas. So therefore, I have to talk like this. I have to do this shit because I see too many people in pain. I feel as though people generally feel like if they're personally successful, then the work is done. So when people subjectively come to me with personal goals, I'm pained because even if I help you reach your personal goals, I'm not even doing shit. I'm not even doing shit. So therefore, if I'm gonna look at the world and look at my children and look at myself, I'm gonna keep this shit sublime. I'm gonna keep this shit spiritual because that's the only shit that's working. So that's a vibe. Neptune entering the 15th degree mark, kicking off this new moon, sextile Saturn at the 15th degree mark of Capricorn, which highlights the idea of tender care, which highlights the idea of constant awareness and intention. To be constantly aware, meaning that you cannot be tapped into what happened 15 years ago and act like you on some shit. Well, my mama always told me, but you're not constantly aware of what's going on in the present. So here we are. Wherever we find ourselves, if you find yourself in a difficult position, like health, you know, finances, relationships, here we go. Saturn shows up like the previous conditions that we've created harm, and they have to be changed if true growth is to be had. The previous conditions that we've created harm have to be changed if true growth is to be had. So Saturn doubles down on this goddamn energy. Negative ideologies that no longer serve our spiritual selves. We all have all these facts that we cannot prove. Hella facts out here. Hella facts that you couldn't prove if I gave you $1 million right now. I'm not even gonna get into the shit that you couldn't prove because we'll be here for an hour. You literally can't prove anything. So therefore you have to figure out how to maintain peace. And a lot of people probably wonder, like, you know, people project, you know, they figure like, you know, what is it about Kyrie or what is it about the hood mystic that people like? I'm not rich, you know, I'm not even trying to be what people expect me to be. I think that people like me for my peace. Cause I'm really peaceful. Like, my wife can bear witness to my peace. It's not a fake peace. My friends, my few friends that know me, They've never seen Kyrie yell, like lose his temper. Lose my temper? What the fuck is that? I haven't done that shit in 15, 20 years. And I'm not weak, or you can't push me over. I literally piss people off daily just cause I'm so used to people being nice to me that I'm tired of it. But even like nice, I'm tired of people being nice, because if we look up the etymology of nice, it just means you're ignorant and you're stupid and you're not being honest. You don't fucking like me. I'd rather provoke that shit. I'd rather have 2 or 3 niggas around me that really fuck with me than 100 people like, oh, Hood Mystic, we love you. I can't get enough of you. And then I piss you off, and then you want to slit my motherfucking throat. I'm good. I'm cool. I'm straight. Because I fuck with myself hard. That's another thing I think why people, like, it's hard for me to deal with people, because I can't reduce my level of fucking around with you, because the way that I fuck with myself is the way me and my wife get down. We don't have barriers. I'll pick up her phone, she'll pick up my phone. We use the same damn phone, my email, like, the doors are open, like, it ain't no fucking creeping shit at all. There's no barriers. But I don't have no barriers with my, like, I got a history, my nigga. Like, ooh. Nobody could, I'm gonna tell you this for a fact. Nobody could come up with more dirt on me than I could come up for on my damn self. If you ever wanted to get a glimpse of some dirty shit, just be like, Hood Mystic, what's your dirt? I tell you. I be wanting to tell people, because I be tired of people acting like this shit is whimsical. This shit came out of the mud. From nothing. And wasn't nothing about this shit easy. It was all a conflict of interest. Because nobody in my circle gave a fuck about astrology, nor gave me the support to say, you know what, you should do this shit. There was an inner conflict that I had with myself, because in myself, I always knew I could do this shit and do more. But that conflict of what my family expected of me, it really affected me somewhere. And I could say, oh, it didn't matter or whatever, but somewhere deep inside of me, it really fucking mattered. And then I understood the idea of individuation and the idea of Miss Brewster across the street, and that shit triggered something in me. Then I just stopped giving a fuck what people expected of me. I started doing me. I started saying what the fuck I wanted to say when I wanted to say it, and it just started to play out for me. Babe, how many times have I said I don't give a fuck about that job? I said it this morning. Like, give a rough estimate about the number of times where I say, you know, I don't give a fuck about that job.
A day or in general?
In general, a mass total. 5,000. It's a 6 months. It's a 6-month project that's gonna be over. I just realized it is February, and next month is March. So that'll be 6 months that I really, you know, challenged myself and did a conflict where I went into the workforce when I did not have to. I chose to, and chose to deal with motherfuckers at work on the daily, and you know, it ain't that bad. They gave me a goddamn golden phone yesterday or today. You know, like I be doing a good job and shit. And man, I don't give a fuck about that job though. It's crazy. I do the most. I do the most. Like, I've been saying, y'all should have been fired me, cause I be doing way too much of my shit when I should be doing their shit. But man, I hope nobody at my job listens. Let's move on. The individual should take great care of his fresh intuitions and his dreams of future growth. They are often fragile developments which the pressures of everyday life can easily distort or destroy. They are often fragile developments which the pressures of everyday life can easily distort or destroy. Now, if this job fucking mattered to me one iota, then the fact that I'm fucking sitting in a place around racist motherfuckers would destroy my fucking soul. But it don't fucking matter. And I'll be doing spiritual shit too, so I know I'll be fucking them up. Like, I know it's like real spirit beef in that motherfucker at this point. But then it's like, he does a good job though. Like, we gotta give him the golden. I'm like, whoever did these tabulations and calculations, I know they was pissed the fuck off. Like, bro, we gotta get this nigga the golden phone. Man, I'm proud of myself, because it's like one of those things that you don't even be really trying for, and then it's kind of like I figured it out. I don't really care about shit besides this astrology. This is what I care about. But I get rewarded in every other way in my life. So it's like somewhere, somehow, me being true to this shit, and no matter what motherfuckers who don't listen to this shit, right? They don't never listen to my channel, but they know everything that I'm talking about, right? So, you know, it's to ignore that shit and really continue to grind and continue to grow. Like, can't nobody stop that shit. Cause I took the long road, believe it or not. And when it comes to success, true success, man, ain't no fucking shortcuts. Ain't no easy way. Ain't no psychic reading. Ain't no astrology reading. Ain't none of that shit when you trying to make it. You want to fall in love? You better work. like our relationship is beautiful, but it requires so much effort for me to come outside of my shell, to embrace her family, all of that. Like, I'm sure she had to adjust to dealing with a thug. I ain't no thug. She said I ain't know. She trying to disrespect my gangster, man. Hold up. Besides the point, never mind, man. So, I've been hearing a lot in the astrological circles and things of that nature, like, I heard Saturn's rings are vanishing. Like, that's really old news. I'm sure they was disappearing in 2008. I'm sure it ain't no goddamn rings now, meaning that 2008, man, something happened. You feel me? And 2019, it's still happening. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's still crumbling. It's still eroding. So, you know, there is no boundaries. There is no real shit unless it's like 1,000 of an exchange. Like, you know, you can't be playing around when there is no boundaries. The boundaries exist in your knowledge and your wisdom to know I'm not fucking with that type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the only boundaries that exist, because if you make the wrong decision, that might be your last decision. So developing trust, developing positive relationships, and transparency and openness is really all you could really hope for in yourself, and knowing that's going to create the particular vibration that you need to receive. So, what I'm really trying to say is that, you know, the most difficult things, the most important things that you need to uncover, and the deepest success that you need to find is really found in doing the things that you love to do. Creating the space and time for doing the things that you love to do will eliminate all the bullshit. 99.999% of the bullshit that you've accumulated in your life is brought upon by you doing some shit that's not aligned with your soul. I think the fundamental point of doing this spiritual shit and doing this soul shit is that everything begins to work out for you, or else you wouldn't be dealing with this shit. It's not supposed to be difficult. So if you're dealing with external conflict, is based upon you not dealing with the internal conflict, because once you develop a relationship with self, a real strong relationship with self, there's no way that that relationship is gonna let you down. You got a strong relationship with the nigga that you met at the gas station, he might change on you. So the card of the day is Magic Mirror. Magic Mirror is taken from the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck. It's also the Moon and the Thoth deck, or the Moon and Rider-Waite. So the Moon, the Magic Mirror. The mirror shows us ourselves as we see ourselves. Do you like what you see? Do you like what you see when you look in the mirror? That matters. That really matters. And do you like what you see? And then, so say for instance, I like what I seen, right? And then I decided to cover that up with a better face. Would that make any sense? If I loved the person that I seen in the mirror? So, you know, it's clear indicators. The hands indicate that other people have a hand in how we see ourselves and how others see us. You feel me? At a certain level, you shouldn't give a damn. Those hands shouldn't be there. But for the mere fact that they're there, we gotta address this shit. We gotta talk about this shit. You gotta defeat this shit. You gotta face this shit, or else you let other people's vision of you distort. Like, man, oh man, that's hard. And man, I had a reading on Sunday with a very, very special person, and she explained to me, it was very quick, but it never left my thought. And it was like how she had a dream and she seen like this beautiful tree, and she went to cause her significant other to show him the tree, and he seen like this like dusty, rusty ass tree with tin cans and shit. Like, he didn't see the same tree that she saw. And I really took that to, when it comes to your dreams, you don't want nobody that half-ass support you or be around you for subjective reasons, but don't really want to see you. Like, that shit is crazy. Like, that shit. Whew. So, yeah, right, John. Yeah. So, if the mirror is distorted, what is the real image? The real image is like deep within. And so in the Voodoo Tarot book, it says, like, if you look in a mirror and you see an image, that's a false image. You gotta stare at yourself long enough till that mirror starts to move. That's the real you. Don't be caught up in the illusion. Don't be caught up in your mama named you, your mama said, like, all of that. Like, you look like your mama and daddy, like, all of that. If you, right, you would be the one, John. You would be the one. But, you know, really dealing with your core self and never letting it go. So it's good to be back. Hope that message resonated. I didn't get a chance to deal with any of the comments because I was doing my thing. But I'm gonna look at these comments. Like, any questions or anything to what I was saying, resonate, no, or how y'all feeling? That's a fact. If it's not in your purpose, it'll never feel good, even if it look good. That's a real fact. That's a real fact. You know it too. It don't even be feeling right. Like you be knowing it. Like man, you know it all the time. You just keep going, gritting your teeth, gritting your teeth. Man, I'm kind of like feeling like I need to take more time with these messages, and because I woke up late today and I was kind of, like I say, I don't lose my temper, but I was kind of pissed off, but I processed it. And I figured, process the information a little more, and I think it is better. you know it turned out better. So um if I feel like doing videos every day, I will. If I don't, I won't. But I'm gonna make sure that when I get in front of y'all, I have something to say, and feel like that matters more. But I guess certain sometimes you gotta grind to get to where you need to get to, and then you can kind of like figure what it is that you really really want to do, and say what you really really want to say. And any time that I was in front, I felt that I needed to, and the times that I wasn't, I felt that I needed to. Then it's just I'm really at a point where I want people to understand themselves. And when I say I want people to understand themselves, I don't want them to question their direction, because that's a lot of it. People questioning themselves. That's 99% of it. So, indeed. The me and me is perfect, blameless. Is something that we all need to be in tune with. And being in tune with that means people not gonna like you, because you'll become successful, and they don't understand that you put in the work. People don't understand people that put in the work. So you just gotta deal with that. But there's no other way. Can't please people. Indeed. Like, family is crazy. I don't know. Them niggas crazy, man. uh, but yeah. So I don't want to hold y'all. I just really want to get this message out. Shout out to the Patreon family. I think I'm gonna end this video now and go straight to Patreon and hop on those readings. You're not on the Patreon bandwagon, for $1 a month, you can get monthly moon sign readings. For $5, you get other stuff. $10, you get more stuff. Um, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. If you're a $5 subscriber, Patreon subscriber, you might not check the messages, but please send me your address if you're interested in getting a cash band. That's just a cash wristband. They should be in the mail next week. So as soon as they come to my house, I'll start sending them out to people, all my Patreon subscribers. So cash bands coming soon. I will sell them on the site for people who aren't subscribers, $5 a piece or something little like that. But little things. I got kids, man. I got 3 little kids, and man, is these niggas expensive. It pisses me off every time we go places. But oh shit, I'm really getting to know yourself to the course journey. It is. Dana, what's up? What's up? You said Muse. We need to have a conversation on muses. Like we need to develop a whole muse society and just send y'all out into the world to inspire these talented young men because there is no muses, or are they? I don't know. I just don't know any. Well, I guess I know. I know one. I know one muse. We need a whole society of muses. Muses are important for the culture. How do I get them on? Well, Odochi, I post every month a post, and you just read that post and then just kind of follow what the other people are doing, just kind of leave your information, and as soon as I can get to you, I can get to you. I get to everybody every month. Um but certain times I'm in a flow and I can get a lot done in a certain period, and then I got shit to do. So, once I get time, I do them. But make sure you go to patreon.com/hoodmystic and make sure you read the goddamn posts and things of that nature because it's important. It's your money, so you should be engaged into it. How can you tell when you are projecting a core limiting belief? When you don't fight it. When you don't fight the initial urge, and that initial urge leads you to places where you're not happy. You should every you don't necessarily know what a core belief is, but you should learn to doubt everything. It's like philosophy or science. If I'm a scientist, you don't never take my word for it. You do your own tests, you do your own scientific process to come up to your own conclusions. So when it comes to examining core beliefs, you have to examine everything. You have to challenge everything. I do this as practice on Facebook. Like, I'll take an idea that I don't even agree with and come up with a defense for it, and I've become a master at it at this point where I can argue a point that I don't even agree with because I've just learned to challenge myself deeper and deeper and deeper. And I don't know. I wouldn't be alone, right? And not with children and really maturing to this level, because if you're alone, you challenge yourself and it puts you in fucking crazy ass positions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just think you could do whatever, or you can challenge every idea. So, I still have responsibility, I still have commitment, but outside of that, everything is fair game. Everything is challenged. Like, respecting individuals' spaces, all human beings. But when it comes to challenging beliefs, uh, you believe things that you wouldn't even know. You never challenged it, or I don't know. It's just something internal that you gotta constantly strive to come to a pristine level, where it comes to guilt, shame, anger, all of that shit is made up and is a result of a core belief. So you have to challenge the root primary cause. And if you're gonna pick apart every single core belief, what is a core belief, what's not a core belief, I can't do that shit. I just bring out the whole explosives, blow it all up, and I start from scratch. Like, have a person prove to me who they are, or things of that nature, or prove myself to myself. Who am I? I sat with myself and thought that for hours on end. What am I? What is this thing we call life? You ever just been on a goddamn bus stop and just been thinking like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you don't sit back and question that fundamental principle, like, therefore you might be ambitious or driven to do something, and it's like, that's a core belief, miss. Like, you're doing absolutely nothing. It just feels good, but it might not have anything to do with what your soul requires. It's deep. I hope that made sense. But everybody have a good evening. Hoodmystic@gmail.com. Hoodmystic.com is the website. Hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If not tomorrow, Wednesday for sure. But peace.